Yo, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to the North American Strikers League. My name is Tech, joined today by Fudgy Waffles, none other than, and you don't know what's happening. We're replaying the Week 9 match from Demons Raw versus Sad Boys, so we should have a pretty good one coming up here.
Yeah, Demons Raw versus Sad Boys is going to be best of three on the same three maps they played last week. So we're starting off with Taiko Temple. This does have the same playoff implications of last week's match, just generally being replayed because of some funny business happening during the match. But if this match, if Sad Boys win, they'll be third seed, which or fourth seed. It's the same thing, really, in playoffs, which will mean that they are going to be able to be picked as a first round pick between either EKC or Bun Bun, who will have to play a tiebreaker match on Tuesday, I believe, if Sad Boys win this one. But if Sad Boys lose, they will be sixth seed heading into playoffs, starting in losers, which is something that Demons Raw are kind of incentivized to do, so they don't have to play them twice, which would be pretty likely if that's what were to happen. But we see the Asher being banned. That pick has been pretty popular. We saw it yesterday that Caleb was picking it in Aten City Underground. So makes sense that we see it again here. We actually see Kainu playing goalie again, just like last week and just like the week before against Core Overflow. And Fugumi on the Vice to kind of do a bunch of damage. We also saw the Juno ban, which makes a lot of sense. Juno, very, very strong on this map. Is honestly, as a midfielder, is the only pick I enjoy playing on this map. I feel pretty useless if I don't just pick Juno. So some damage on both sides, but a lot more on the side of Demons Raw, which is something they're pretty well known for.
Oh, of course. You know, that ban mainly affecting Gumi on the Juno, who we saw playing it 2 or 3 weeks ago and was super dominant, able to lead Demons Raw to a fairly easy victory because of it. But things will be kicking off right now, looking to get out any damage as soon as possible. Gumi already losing half of his health. And we'll see how these Striker Awakenings end up being important. Build different Castellas are the two starting ones, so obviously some fairly large implications, especially on Atlas with that Castellas will be so hard to get through.
Yeah, I really like size on this map because the core moves through so fast that like you don't really have time to react and move towards it sometimes. So being able to cover more space can be pretty important. But as we see, the Vice and the Zentaro both hitting level 2 early are going to cause a huge damage discrepancy and cause both Bells and Vaughn to be staggered, or at least close to it. And no KOs found is what I would say. If Snake wasn't able to find that KO, is going to result in the first power play situation of the match. Make that a double power play, and it's going to be a time where they can stack damage onto You Already Lose. It's looking like it's going to be a Demons Raw point coming up soon, and there it is.
Yeah, not much you can do about that one. 2 KOs, and You Already Lose stuck there, sitting naked on their side of the field. Super difficult for the Sad Boys on that first point, and we'll see if the damage is able to keep scaling throughout this match. I mean, we can see how often people just scale for late game with these damage awakenings, and especially on a map that's so constricted, you know, like Taiko Temple. There's Gumi burning the core flip right away, but both gates fall for it. Kainu looking to pass it up to somebody. Bell's doing a good job dribbling. Will get one barrier for it. Will he get the second? Doesn't look like it. It's a good primary from You Already Lose. Keeps him alive for a little bit as Vaughn will be respawning.
Yeah, we see the strike shot there doing a lot of work. It's going to be kind of the big difference between the two goalies. We see Caleb playing the defensive melee goalie with strike shot, but we see Kainu playing a more forward pressure eject button goalie that has that damage. But once again, the strike shot comes in huge. He's able to get that save from the cross angle across the map. And then Kainu, though, walks up, applies the pressure, and Snake's able to finish it off and win the interaction to get the second point. But I want to talk about BD a little bit more. Like the 5% extra impact damage is often overlooked, but I do think it adds up, especially when it's across 3 players on your team, all getting that little bit of extra damage. Especially when you have one more character in Aimi dealing damage, as opposed to Atlas, who's just kind of doing, honestly, like a really small amount of healing. For example, Vaughn not even able to get any of that healing there from the Celestial Intervention. Instead, is just going to be KO'd because if you just hit them out of the healing, there's not really much they can do. And out there we see Caleb, who's already almost KO'd, so they're going to need to, especially if they lose this round, which is seeming very, very likely, they're going to need to find something in this next draft to keep them alive.
Oh, ooh.
What?
Somehow Snake is just dead off the net. I'm not even sure what that was. Potentially a glitch pop, but Kainoob has to use the flip to get things out. And Gumi trying to find the shot, trying to find the self pass. The Snake does come back up. Kainoob does a good job at holding things out. And now Bells is on the back foot, staggered, forced to look for something as he will get saved away, but not for long as he's bounced back and forth. You already lose, only able to save him once and not twice as Snake looking to find something, passing up to Gumi. But there's still so much pressure on the side of Sad Boys. Demons Raw looking for anything, and Snake slams it through the back of the net. First set will go to Demons Raw.
Yeah, this is really scary because the damage comp's just going to get more damage, and the few defensive awakenings in the game can be denied or taken away if needed. We see Unstoppable and Sparkerizel as the two options for this Atlas to stay alive, but if you're taking it, then that means your forwards don't get it. So now you're kind of your win condition right now is Atlas getting Spark of Leadership right now, and then it's a lot. It just suddenly becomes way harder for Demons Raw to find these KOs, but with 1-2 punch, explosive entrance, both being taken on the side on Demons Raw, their damage is going to be scaling quite a lot, and Kainoob's going to have even more forward pressure with that dash extension.
Yeah, and that's a huge part too. We see Kainoob playing so aggressive. I mean, of course, I believe traditionally he is normally on that midfield role, whereas Gumi typically fulfills the goalie net. So just, you know, having that mindset as a midfielder, but now you're playing goalie means you can just put so much pressure along with your team because you just know how it works.
Yeah, and we see already, like instantly, Kainoob and the rest of the team finding that KO on Devon, just stacking the damage on the one person. They like to call it snake lore when you just have your brawler go and chase their midfielder and KO them, but sometimes it's just the whole team doing it, and that's when it's the most disgusting. As we see Vaughn once again gets KO'd, it's just not allowed to play this game. And now it's Caleb's next. There's no ult from the Atlas that's going to be able to save him. Already been used. And now it's just up to Bells to 1v3 this barrier. But Snake might have DC'd. I don't know. It could be BM, but this doesn't seem to be. It seems to be back in this gone to KO. Give me that's a cool dribble play to finish that one off. And I don't know. I don't. It's harder and harder to see where the Sad Boys win condition lies.
That indeed. I mean, I feel like you already lose to have his Celestial Intervention up every second to save this. I mean, instantly Vaughn and Bells being chunked away every time, and Snake and Gumi just have so much core control, and there's that recovery drone from that last draft as Gumi manages to stay alive, forced the ult, and now it's Bells staggered once again. Snake almost finds a beautiful pass, and Gumi somehow living finds the perfect angle to stay alive here, and the shot is good in the bottom corner.
Yeah, great play from Snake. Cool little dribble with that primary, and then hits it to the bottom corner, strike shot. He'd probably, I would imagine it was like just coming up or something like that. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but everyone's pausing right now. This is interesting. We'll have to see what's up. Apparently, this match? Look, this is interesting. They're saying they're on 92 ping on Sad Boys right now. So maybe it's either a ping spike situation where they're just waiting it out, or it was always on West. This does look like it's Central, and it definitely was set to Central, but yeah, they just said it's been steady 92 the whole game, which is... It's been a bug right now. There's a bug where sometimes you pick Denver and it'll send you to Oregon. Which is weird because you think more people in the lobby would notice. But yeah, they're just checking it right now. There is a world where they just remake the whole lobby. It's an awkward situation though. It's usually kind of something you're supposed to check as soon as the game starts to make sure you're on the right server. But we will be remaking the first map, and kind of gives Sad Boys like a good chance. Like honestly, like ping definitely would have helped them in that game. It says really hard to play on 92 ping.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be making like it's harder to dodge abilities, it's harder to win your strike wars, to apply pressure. So even if your opponent's playing damage, like you can't punish them for like overcommitting to damage as much because you can't just like strike it past them while they're trying to kill you. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised Ulysses was able to save as many as he did on 92 ping, because that's just ridiculous. That's like that's like doubling your reaction time, essentially, when you're playing on a ping that high. So pretty wild.
yeah, yeah. So not it's just harder because you just have to like strike a little bit earlier sometimes. So just kind of having that like innate sense to do some things like that is like pretty interesting. But I wonder if they're going to change up their comps after seeing that, or if I mean, it also is awakening dependent, of course. But
Mhm.
if we see the comp switch up, it would be pretty interesting. We usually see, I mean, we used to see Atlas Dubu come out of Sad Boys all the time. So usually with like Drakkar in the gold box, but we'll have to see if they do things differently. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so it was Denver, but it was just bad Denver.
Allegedly, something like
Which
that.
which happens sometimes. So yeah, I guess that just happens sometimes. It's a known issue with certain players where their routing is weird to Denver, and it ends up not giving them the best ping. But they're just gonna restart their computers, maybe adjust their games, see if that fixes it, and we'll hopefully head back in shortly. But sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. But if they saw that damage comp, maybe they just kind of were gonna chalk it up to ping and not worry too much about their comp and changing it. But it was looking pretty dominant from Demon's Raw, even with the ping advantage. So it'd be interesting to see if any bans get changed or comp gets changed. Like now is always an option on that map if you want to try and counter the damage comp, especially if it's not even if BD isn't that much damage, it's still enough to create a damage start. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, that is a good point. Now, very dominant on that map, especially when you get the creation awakenings. I mean, I've heard other casters and other people talk about just how dominant creations are on Tycho Temple. Just you have a narrow lane and all of a sudden you have to strike it past 5 Juno blobs. Good luck. you know,
Yeah.
there's just so many things that can block your shot and so many mix-ups you can even do on a striker like Juno, right? With all those drums on the side. So we definitely could see a more creation heavy comp. I believe we've seen other teams rock the forward Dubu, which is always a nice pick. Even forward Atlas is something that is almost kind of exclusive to Tycho Temple, or at least something that we see fairly consistently at high levels. So, depending on the starting awakenings, I think that's going to change up how these two teams play a lot. But you never know. We might see some more tofu madness like we saw last week.
Yeah. I've been always a big proponent. I do think Slick Kicks this is the worst map for Slick Kicks, which is usually super, super popular on midfielders. We saw last game both midfielders took Siphoning Wand on Aimee and Vice respectively. I like going eject button midfield Juno on this map. It's really fun. You get the fly around the map and 1v9. You just have your goalie take slick kicks and just play like Atlas or Now or something. And then you go Dubu forward. And that's my evolution from the sort of Sad Boys comp of going Atlas and Dubu forward that I like a little bit better. You just get to because you really like you don't need momentum boots. Strike shot's pretty good, and eject
Mhm.
button's always good. But on goalie on that map, like you don't need anything extra that much, especially if you're just a creation goalie like Atlas. And you don't need slick kicks on the midfield, so Juno doesn't really have a great option, in my opinion. And eject button just giving you that immediate dash range is really, really nice. So that's usually my pick. And then if you get dash ranges, you can just kind of transition to like goalie too and tell your Atlas or Now to just start playing midfield.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it's We've yet to see an NASL team pick up this game-breaking strategy. We have seen it in NASA, I believe, from me, but we've seen it in WDL. We've seen it in NASA. We're waiting for it to happen in NASL. We'll have to see. But we will be likely going to Dallas, which is pretty it's interesting because at first it was seeming pretty good for Sad Boys, but if the rest of this series is played on Dallas, Snake lives in Texas, so gets really, really good ping, and Kayanoob, as the only top level Mexican player, is also gets really, really good ping to Dallas. So that's kind of their server, and they don't get to play it very often because no one wants to play against like 20 ping Snake and Kayanoob.
Yeah, that's the truth. Even on high ping, those are some scary names to run into. So I believe we will be getting back into this one right now on Tycho Temple once again. And this one should be on Dallas servers because apparently Denver is broken. That's just how we do things here.
Yep, this happens sometimes. Interested to see the awakening start this time. But in the meantime, we see hovers don't really mean much from this team. Like, yeah, Asher is going to get banned again. Just very, very hard to break through, and even harder to KO even than like a character like Atlas who has that res and heal. You just Asher has that secondary to give that extra defensive boost. That ends up being a pretty big deal. We see Kazan being locked in by Snake this time instead of Zentaro, so probably looking for a different kind of damage. Maybe to start is just a little bit better for Kazan over Zentaro. Both Bells and Snake both play both characters, so probably not that big of a deal. And we see Juno being picked up by Gumi. I kind of missed the ban. I didn't see what Sad Boys banned, but it's another Atlas pick. And Estelle being picked instead of the IME midfield.
Yeah, Asher and Zentaro were the two bans. And we're starting off with a prize fighter built different start. So, I mean, we're about to see the same thing we saw last time in terms of damage and in terms of people being just off the map.
Yeah, we do see Gumi on to Juno instead. It's honestly a little bit interesting because the Vice was working extremely well last game. I do agree that the Juno is better, but you do have a bit less damage. It so far has not seemed to matter though. Snake immediately finding not a KO. It is rezzed by the Atlas, but still a lot of damage pressure. And now Bells with no evade right now, and Vaughn being a midfielder and the same game as Demon's Raw and Snake. There's going to be a lot of damage going on to those two in particular. And as soon as a KO's found to one of them, they can just move on to the next or move on to Caleb, which is both just scary either way. And Vaughn now out of evades. There's the stall from Kayanoob. They have two flips here. Insane play from Gumi. Able to save that one. Overcooks the dribble, but Vaughn's off the table. And two flips are online. And this is the crazy thing about damage comps. Okay, kind of just tried to cook something crazy there. But the crazy thing about damage comps is that not only are you dealing more damage and getting advantage through there, fleshy angle by the way, you are also just getting energy for it, and your opponents are losing energy for it. So not only did they get a power play, but look at the energy advantage right now. Snake and Gumi both have flip, kind of just used flip, and it's just kind of disgusting. And it's one of the kind of complaints that comes out for damage a lot, is that it's just, you just get so much energy. They just use two flips, get a KO, and finish off the second point, and I haven't stopped talking since like point 1 because point 2 is 11 seconds long.
Oh my gosh, Demon's Raw, that reset did nothing to them. They are still on top. Gumi with 2 prize fighter stacks on Juno, credited with at least one of those kills. And what an incredible showing right now from Demon's Raw. They are making it work, and look at this. Sad Boys is just on the back foot. Uridilu's doing a good job locking down that barrier for just a little bit, but what can you do against this?
Well, they found their answer, which is really important for them to get that KO to kind of come back online, but kind of going to be able to stall for a while. Bells strikes it a little bit too close and accidentally dribbles it instead of taking the barrier. Unless there's some like 10 gigabillion level play I didn't see, but I really don't think that was it. And they find another KO. And with these KOs, they're able to find their prize fighters. Bell's now at 2. Vaughn actually not getting any assists there, though. Isn't going to get anything back. Still at 0, which is kind of a bright spot for Demon's Raw. But if Demon's Raw can just get one more point, all prize fighters are off the table, and then that's going to be pretty important. But Snake is not going to be able to catch the primary with that. I believe it's called top spin, and core is not caught, is not saved, gets slides past, and it's going to be a first point for Sad Boys.
Yeah, I mean, a nice goal there from Vaughn, just doing a good job winning that strike war with those Juno blobs. Always an interesting timing, because you never know when they're going to pass between each other. So a good read from them. The Snake is on such low HP already. We see Bells has 2 prize fighter stacks right now on Kazan with Siphoning Wand. Not necessarily something you want to find if you're in a back alley, or in this case, a temple. This Kainoob looking to clear it forward. Snake is just trying to stay alive. Almost takes out Vaughn, though. Nice umbrella usage from them.
Yeah, it's really interesting how both these teams play, because Snake knows that Snake's the only one on this team that can really get targeted very easily, which is why, part of the reason why we see the BD. Also, Size is just really good on Kazan, and BD is really good on Kazan. So a lot of things add up. But we see instead, and Snake, once they topspin to put it in, was staggered for a really long time, but they couldn't find the KO. The Snake, like in Demon's Raw, they just continue to target Vaughn because they know it's just a higher priority target to KO the midfielder. And now there's a draft with Stagger Swagger available, Unstoppable available, 2 Sparks if you want to go for Spark or Resilience later. But yeah, Stagger Swagger is going to need to be taken by the Juno for sure, if it's not denied instead. But instead, oh, actually we see Prime Time taken. Maybe Stagger Swagger going to be taken by Snake if it's not taken by someone else, which would make a lot of sense. But yeah, it's going to be able to be blocked by Bells, which isn't that big of a deal for Demon's Raw, because they really are targeting Vaughn really, really hard. And Unstoppable isn't going to help that much if Snake's just able to take that off with a like closed primary or anything like that. Or even just a random slime is just going to be enough to put a lot of pressure onto Vaughn and kind of negate that awakening. We'll have to see if Unstoppable is able to do much, but so far it's going to be Sad Boys kind of taking the upper hand on this first set.
Yeah, nice little angle there from Snake to get one, and now we see Gumi finding another one. Kainoob's all the way up. Snake is just staying alive for a little bit longer, somehow able to win every strike war and just keep so much pressure. And oh, Vaughn able to clear that one out before you already lose. But that's all she wrote. Will get KO'd, and now it's just Gumi and Kainoob up in the top, just trying to keep that core there, trying to generate any amount of pressure, but the core just drifts in. Kainoob does not have the awakenings or abilities to deal with that one at all. Easy pickup there from Bells.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see that, like, you can tell why they really wanted Snake to get that Stagger Swagger, but not just turned out that way. It isn't going to matter at this point. Just completely blitz both barriers like almost instantly, and now Kainoob had a chance to flip that one out, but instead just doesn't flip at all, and Bells is going to score.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful from Bells. The double barrier into instant goal. You don't see that too often, but when you do, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mistake from Kainoob there not to use the flip. Gumi was kind of memeing on him a little bit for it. But look at this, Bells is being targeted right now, but has the Stagger Swagger and the speed to run to that orb. Like even if they get this stagger here, like Bells has an like 2 evades because you're playing Kazan. So it's just gonna be extremely hard to finish the KO onto Bells, even if you get the stagger on. So they it's honestly weird that they started focusing instead. And another sort of mistake from Kainoob, not expecting that extra strike range from Bells, is going to result in a really tough situation. Vaughn is not going to flip it in though, and instead is going to look for another opportunity while Kainoob's able to save flip as well. But the pressure in the corner is pretty good right now. They should be able to find this barrier, but the flip is going to be used defensively. It was taken anyway. There's no animation moment, but at least for me. So
Yeah,
awkward
no
situation.
energy left except for Kainu, who manages to find it. A nice shot. The glitch pop not even needed. I was scared there for a little bit if Vaughn used that to close out the set. Instead, that core flip used defensively and just so difficult to deal with. And look at the prize fighter stacks. I mean, it's Vaughn on 2 and Bell's on 3 right now, maxed out, able to do so much damage. And this time he's trying to take it out on Kainu, who thankfully is able to evade around it.
Yeah, that's the one reason why Snake knew that he'd be a big target this game, is that like Kainib and Juno can just kind of blink away. Oh, awkward situation there. Kainib leaves the top open. Bells knows that Gumi won't be able to help and cover the bottom either way, so it's just a free shot there, and they're going to be able to take a set back. And whoa. It's a lot of stuff on the board this time. I'm pretty interested to see what Kazan takes specifically. There's really no way to deny. So we're just going to see the spec training taken, which I think is interesting. Okay, this makes more sense because it allows your Estelle to take heavy impact. I do think heavy impact's a little bit better than specialized training on Kazan, especially post rework. But even through all of like everything that was on this board, like the last pick Kazan gets Twin Drive, which is insanely strong. Everyone getting really, really good awakenings, which is kind of more important for Demon's Raw because their damage is going to scale harder with Kainib in the box. But everyone getting something is pretty important. And if, as we saw last round, if Bells is able to stack these prize fighters, it can be really scary for either team. And Vaughn getting that full heal is going to be pretty good for Sad Boys.
It sure will. And oh, look at that with 1 HP. Snake surviving on a knife's edge on the corner of the map. Able to deal some damage, and you already lose. The goalie is just sent all around the world. Sent back to the net, and now we're just reset. But no, immediately KO'd. Huge by Snake. You already lose. Went on vacation there for a little bit, and the pass back and forth is textbook from Gumi, able to find that corner, and there's not much Vaughn can do about that one. Clean goal for Demon's Raw to start off this 3rd set.
Yeah, here's the problem. There's the problem with Recovery Drone, is that it's very good into things like Julie, where if you make a mistake and get dash punched or something, then you can come back. But versus these damage comps, you just get KO'd and then you get KO'd again. You see flip ult coming out from Kainu, which doesn't work out the way they want it to. Doesn't get that barrier, but look who is getting KO'd. Once again, it is Caleb, who is now off the screen. It's up to Bells and Vaughn to hold it down. Vaughn, no stranger to the net, though, is going to be able to help out. Although, not honestly, barely touching the core. Bell's doing a really good job of keeping the pressure up, but Snake is going to find it. Flips a little bit early. It's going to be really scary. Might be able to find a K on the Snake and get some prize fires going, but it's Bells who's going to be staggered. And wow, this bounce, really good bounce, finds a perfect spot that I think both Vaughn and Caleb thought they had covered, but slips right by, and it's once again looking like Demon's Raw hit a huge power spike.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Gumi passing it to his own blob. That's the power of friendship right there. That's why Juno is such a scary threat to play against, especially if you're a goalie. But this time, 1 threat's eliminated. Snake taken off the map quite quickly. And Vaughn does have this energy burst too.
Yeah, prize fighters are now equalized despite it being a 2-0 right now for Demons, but honestly it feels so much scarier when Snake has the damage right now, because just Caleb already almost KO'd. But once again, Bells is just finding these double barriers over and over again. If they just really need to find a way to adapt, kind of needs to be a little bit more wary of it, but has the flip right now, isn't in that big of a scary spot, especially against a character like Kazan. You don't have to play too... you can play pretty patiently, but now there's a lot of pressure going on to Sad Boys.
Oh my god, Snake just lost all of his health in a single second. Oh, and he is off the map. It's up to Bells now to try to find something, and there's the core flip coming out from Kainu, but now doesn't have much to work with. Has to use that cyber swipe to clear things out, and Snake will be coming back just in time for the clear. Beautiful timing there, and now it's so difficult. You already lose, has to try to defend this, and oh no, the cyber swipe from Kainu comes out at the wrong time, and the core just flies into the back of the net. Another point, or rather the first point of the set, this time for Sad Boys, as Demon's Raw only needs one more to be in the lead.
Yeah, we see Gimme spamming the sorry pings. Gimme had an opportunity to score there. It wasn't like easy, but hit a Juno Slime redirect that could have resulted in a goal. Instead, just kind of hit it into a bad spot. So could have been an end of the set there, but instead we see Snake taken out and Bell's at 3 prize fighter stacks. This is really scary for Demon's Raw now. The other team has scaled, and Sad Boys are going to get another point. Another 2-2, just like that. And they're going to have to find a way to deal with this Kazan, who now has 3 prize fighter stacks at 160 power, specialized training and just feels unkillable with this Stagger Swagger.
Yeah, that's hard for the mental, knowing you could have closed it out if you just had your mouse in a different spot. And we see Bell's doing such a good job of core control during this entire game, using that hook to perfection. We see so many double barriers, and there's a first barrier coming out for Snake. Put him in the lead, but almost a double again from Bells. He's so good at finding this angle against Kainoob.
Oh, there we go. KO on the Vaughn. That's really important. Because kind of what they've been going for a while, they haven't really been able to get. They kind of been putting that damage onto You Already Lose, which is a great target, to be clear. But Kainoob has that extended dash range, blinks into the goal box of You Already Lose, flips it in, and Demon's Raw are not going anywhere.
That's right. The only place they're going is to the shop, to the draft, and we'll see what they're able to pick up. Kainoob hovering rapid fire, which, of course, very, very strong. Also a good denial for Estelle, but surely we see the hotshot denial, right?
Yeah, hotshot also just probably the best awakening on Estelle anyway. So, or it's up there. In this game, you kind of want some more damage things, like heavy impact is debatably better, honestly, in my opinion. But Spark of Leadership is going to fall onto Gumi to deny You Already Lose, who already had Spark of Focus. Which means no one's going to get any insane combos there, and it also means later on in the game, the Spark Rezeal is still up. So if it goes to set 5, whoever is able to get that is going to be a pretty big deal, because a lot of people have the ability to have 2 Sparks with Spark of Rezeal, which makes you really, really, really hard to kill. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Other than that, oh my...
Oh, keep your eye on the core. And it's in the net. Kainoob finds the cyber swipe and just slams it off the drum. You Already Lose was not ready for that one.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that one. So that point just went by so fast. And that's the power of eject button goalie. It's that you just get to have so much more influence on the game than a melee goalie. Even a lot of people have been starting to favor melee goalies a little bit more now. Kind of like being able to hold it down a little bit better than these eject goalies, but just the amount of damage that comes through and the amount of forward pressure is just so scary to deal with. The KO on the Snake will be found, which will give Vaughn time to heal up as well, which is really important for them, and give him that energy advantage we was talking about last game. Vaughn looking for an opportunity to just get this flip. Probably would try to use it on this last barrier, but for now just has to defend. The slimes from Gimme are really, really being a menace to You Already Lose, but not going to matter too much. A lot of flips exchanged, and it's open goal for Sad Boys. Boom.
Yeah, and an open goal indeed. As Snake is able to find that one, You Already Lose. You know, that's the struggle. You just don't have anything to deal with that. If your strike shot is not up, it's just in your net.
Yeah, that's another melee goalie low, is you don't have... you need strike shot to cover the open net. Once you do have it, it feels really nice, though. You can cover everything, it feels like, most of the time. Even though you're not a ranged goalie, you can help out. But there we go. Vaughn KO'd is going to result in another power play situation. One of many for this team. And there we see the barrier is taken in the end. Bells now staggered, but has stagger swagger, so Celestial Intervention pretty much guarantees Bells' survival, is what I would say. But Snake finds a great pull into the Taiko drum. It was an insane angle. I'm honestly a bit confused how that hit. And kind of hits the stun, but can't strike while doing that. So kind of like a weird situation where you hit the stun, but aren't able to finish it off. But so it'll be Snake doing it instead. And that'll be the first first map going once again to Demon's RAHH.
And an explosive ending there to end off that first match. Demon's RAHH will go up 1-0 in this set, or in this series rather. Needs one more to close it out. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is this map a Demon's RAHH pick?
I think so. It's a bit weird. I think this is generally more favored by sad boys in general, like when it comes down to it. And this was picked last week when they wanted to kind of rematch like the Dubu Forward Mirror from LAN finals. There's a lot of like weird lore there. But next map will be Night Market, which is kind of a map that both teams like. I do know that both teams can play a lot of different comps on this map. Damage is pretty good, so that's probably going to be picked by Demon's RAHH. But there's always the possibility of seeing something like Era Double Brawler from either of these teams. Pretty much like anyone can pilot it, or either of these teams can pilot it at an extremely high level. We haven't really seen much of the Era Double Brawler lately. Just kind of fell out of favor, especially when it kind of can get wrecked by certain damage comps. So excited to see what they decide to do.
Yeah,
but it was yeah,
it was a close game for a little bit, and then scaling happened, and things got scary. I mean, I thought for sure, right? Prize fighter stacks, one of probably the most, I would say, one of the more influential awakenings in terms of sort of changing how the game goes in the future, because it alters every single set, right? Like you can be on a set, have 3 prize fighter stacks, just KO everyone. And then you can have another stack or another set where you just get KO'd and you have 0 the whole time and you're just struggling. Definitely something that could have turned the tides at any moment there, I would say. But Night Market is a Sad Boys pick. We'll see if they have the comp to deal with the sort of damage that we consistently see from Demon's RAHH.
Yeah, it's interesting because both teams like can pick the now. I would probably, I kind of expect it to be banned, to be honest, this game, especially by Demons, because I don't think they're as worried about Asher on this map. You kind of have more ways to get around Asher. It's definitely not a weak pick, but there's just a lot of other picks on this map that can be seen as stronger. Asher, like especially on this map because it's like smaller and the lanes are smaller, you can move up a lot more as goalie. So you want to pick a character that can do that effectively and help your teammates farther forward by moving up. So if we end up seeing like something like Asher picked, then it's going to be a lot harder for the Asher to move up because it's a lot easier to hit around Asher and stuff like that to take the barriers behind. So honestly, I would not be surprised to not see an Asher ban this time, despite the pick having a lot of popularity and Caleb being shown that he can play it. It would be interesting though. I don't think they swapped. I didn't really check, but Gumi's been playing Rune goalie a lot, so it'd be interesting if they kind of didn't play goalie so that they could play something like that. But no, it's gonna be kind of on goalie again, and we'll see what's banned.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine we'll see Kainub on the IME once again, right? I mean, we see them playing that on almost every map. Just, I feel like purely based on damage, right? You're able to do so much with those glitch pops, and it's just so uncomfortable to deal with that cyber swipe always being a threat. Kazan and Zentaro are the 2 bans right away. Makes sense. Pretty core control and just spam based map. Just Zentaro's kit, so hard to deal with. And we might see an Era goalie who's actually surprisingly strong on Night Market.
Yeah, here we see it. It's the Era Double Brawler comp. It's just super interesting is that both Zentaro and Kazan were banned, which are just kind of the 2 best brawlers in the game right now, which allows for Bells to play Julie. In a way, it's like the only world where it's not kind of bad to do that. But Fight or Flight start, everyone's going to be zooming around the map extremely quickly. And especially Gumi is able to play this sort of like midfield. X is going to be moving really, really fast, which is something that's going to be really, really hard to deal with. Even though you're playing this anti-stuff, goalie, we already see both barriers taken out already. Just the amount of pressure this double brawler provides and accidental damage, honestly, is going to be really, really scary. And we're going to have to see if that Drakkar can provide enough core control and consistent damage to deal with it.
Yeah, that will be a big deal. Especially in the first barrier falls, a huge KO from Gumi. Sends them off the map, and Snake is looking for the dash punch, fishing for it. Knows there's a potential if you just keep it in the corner, and there's the punch. But the pass up is too much for you to lose to deal with. A nice goal there from Snake.
Honestly, this might be a really, really good draft decision from Demon's Raw once again. This amount of speed they have is super, super important for countering Asher. Like, they can just play around it so well. And Bell's finding himself extremely low right now. Gumi might just flip. It's just taunting in front of Bells right now, who got instantly staggered and is the only person in the game who is still level 1. Is going to be able to find one barrier, though, but there's the KO. Vaughn really low. Snake tried to get an invisible punch, or tried to punch Vaughn while invisible to get a KO, but there's the double barrier. Just getting run over once again, and it's going to be a missed flip that ends that point, and it's just another Demon's Raw rundown.
Oh my gosh, the whole team was staggered there and one player off the map. It's so ridiculous how much damage Demon's Raw can do. Every time I watch this team, there's just so many KOs, but this time it ends up being Snake taken off the map as Kainub and Gumi still putting on so much forward pressure despite having one player down. It doesn't even feel like a power play until that first barrier falls, and it still doesn't.
Yeah, despite, like you said, it being a power play for Sad Boys, the pressure being on the side, on the core just being on the right side of the map that entire power play. But both barriers will be taken. Bells is able to use abilities very well to force Kainub into a bad spot. If Kainub doesn't have any cooldowns, it's just really, really free. That's true of most characters, I guess, but even secondary isn't defensive, so you kind of have less options as Era. But when you move forward and are able to give your brawler speed, it's just extremely scary. Bells goes for an evade dash punch play, but Snake is wary of it and is able to get out just in time. And now Bells is one looking really low. If Gumi's able to find a KO, they can maybe convert that power play into something really good for the side of Demon's Raw. But instead, it's going to be Bells just ran away, trying to survive. Dash punch going to be evaded. And Kainub now has to deal with this strike shotgun, but is going to do it very, very well. It's no stranger to strike shotgun, has played many games with it. And flip is going to be used here in order to get that last barrier. And now it's up to Snake and Gumi to find a goal.
Yeah, Snake is on such low HP, though, and a nice job trying to keep the teammate alive. Ends up getting KO'd by You Already Lose. Now, this one is looking more like a power play, as Snake is still down. Kainub forced to deal with this as Era and the dash punch from Bells will secure Sad Boys' first point.
And here's the really annoying thing about Drakkar is that you see the siphoning wand on Drakkar is that you just deal so much damage. You can just walk up to someone, ult, and shotgun them twice, and that will do at least 75% of their HP. And that is just something you don't want to have to deal with, but you just do. Another interesting thing is everyone's moving so fast that these Julies are going to have a really hard time finding a bunch of dash punches. Gumi strikes it back where he's just kind of trying to KO Vaughn. The mission has kind of been understood. They kind of forget sometimes that if they just KO Vaughn, they usually just instantly win. So using a lot of damage and resources onto Vaughn at this point, trying to find that KO. But since all the resources were used, they're not finding that many spots where they can actually get the KO. So kind of doing hit a hard angle and just kind of force the own barrier almost. And also important to remember, everyone has fighter flight. So every time someone gets staggered, that means they get their secondary back, which is how chill is that? Jeez.
we love to see it, and we might see one right now. Asher almost getting the secondary back on You Already Lose, but Bells is so lit. Has the flip though. Doesn't combo it, instead burns it just to try to stay alive. And Kainub is fishing for that KO while defending all at the same time. A great showing from them, as you just have to win these strike wars in the midfield, and everyone's moving so fast, it's hard. But Bells has an opportunity to dribble. The dash punch flipped away by Kainub. It's Gumi now trying to put You already lose on the back foot. Snake burns that core flip. Does a good job at that, but somehow you already loses keeping this barrier alive, but not for long as it finally falls. And now Snake has the opportunity to dash punch, and he puts it through. First set will go to Demon's Raw.
What a great setup. Like, honestly, multiple great setups. One of them, even Snake followed up on it really well, and Caleb was still just able to save it. But then in like round 2, it's just too much pressure, and it ends up going to the side of Demon's Raw. And now there's just so much good stuff. The thing is, like, I think Demon's Raw's comp just scales a little bit better. So it's just really, really hard if you are Sad Boys on any draft to kind of make things better for yourself. The Stagger Swagger and Rapid Fire are going to be huge for the side of Demon's Raw. Spark Leadership allows for some later scaling, and Twin Drive is really fun with Fight or Flight because every time you stagger, you get your secondary back. So it's a pretty good combo. I honestly don't really remember how that interaction works. I think you just get one like cooldown's worth back when you get it, but like if it's something crazy and I just somehow don't know where you get 2, then that'll be something to look out for. But you see Vaughn hunting down Snake. The amount of damage on Drakkar is just insane.
It is insane, especially the healing too. I mean, siphoning one, where it's not doing that much. I mean, only well, you heal yourself for, I don't know, about 9% of the enemy's damage, but still, you see Drek immediately back up after a single shot, and with the knife's edge too, even scarier if you're caught out there. Thankfully, no cooldowns to work with just yet.
Really well played defense from Snake and Kai Noob. Snake hit some really like crucial strikes there on defense that most brawlers don't hit. To be honest, usually brawlers on defense have a bit of trouble, but good plays from Snake. Plays it really solidly. Hits the pass to Gumi. Doesn't really see an angle that you're using covering. Ooh. But Kai Noob's gonna take him out with the magical maelstrom, but it's gonna be shot out of the sky. It's gonna be Snake, and now it's a 2v2, but it's gonna be Kai Noob running up, playing that midfield with Gumi Brawler, just kind of switching it up a little bit and scoring the core as the goalie.
Bang indeed. A beautiful shot there from Kai Noob. You know, like you said, those brawlers are doing a great job holding it down. It's not oftentimes what you see from a lot of brawlers. It's so difficult to play defense with some of these characters like Julie. Of course, Drek, a much easier one to do it with. But look at just the mayhem going on in the midfield right now. There's so much damage, and Kai Noob, with that rapid fire, is able to just keep these characters shrunken for the longest time. It's so hard to strike the core.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And look at Gumi's speed right now. Has Slick Kicks, Fight or Flight, Stagger Swagger, just has God, like X midfield build. It's just, usually X kind of has to like deal with being a little bit of like a weaker character, but has been doing fine so far. Snake using the dash, I didn't even see how that barrier was taken. Snake
just
using that's just for fun, just like to survive, but barrier's lost. Bells looks for a dash punch, maybe dash punch flip, but now doesn't have dash punch to score. So really good for Demon's Raw. Now Bells is going to have to flip, but it's just out of range. Really good play and spacing from Kainu, but honestly, it's a general mistake from Bells on that initial dribble. Now it's up to Gumi with, again, it's 1 billion speed right now to try and score, but the shot is just a little bit too close. You already lose, but the pass to Snake is going to find a great angle to finish that one off. And what's crazy is that Gumi was so fast that he was almost there to strike it a third time.
Yeah, wow. That's so tragic. You already lose, just misses that clear by a millimeter, ends up bouncing back forward and just can't relieve that pressure. It's these little tiny issues in execution that makes this game so difficult. And look at that flip by Kainu, keeping the barrier alive somehow with Era's kit. Such a great defensive showing, and that fight or flight on offense is leading to so many barriers and so many goals. So hard to play against.
And now there's 2 flips on the side of Demon's Raw. It's just a guaranteed barrier when you flip that close, pretty much. And now Gumi just using it just for damage at this point. Bell's extremely low. We see the secondary, the Bull Rush, get the stagger, and then Bull Rush comes out again. Just because you have fighter flight, and now they're just passing. They can't really find a way past Vaughn, but they finally do. They're looking for the Maelstrom to try to combo into something, but Kainu isn't ready for it. The power play kind of goes to waste. And now Dash Punch ult is not going to KO Gimme. Gimme just starts taunting on top of Bells after that sequence. Now Bells has no cooldowns to score with. Gimme knows this. Gimme looking for that speed, but Vaughn's able to snipe the center speed. Really cool micro midfield play there from Vaughn to kind of keep them in that point. But now it's a scary spot. The dash punch is back online for Bells, is able to get that one. But here's the flip. They both just kind of missed their strikes. And it's going to be a strike right towards Kayanib, though. It's going to be able to save. The ball magnet goes crazy. And it's now Gumi back online to be able to play out this possible last point of the set.
Oh man, Vaughn does have this flip, but it seems like Kainu is impenetrable. Just all the core, he has a magnet. It's just drifting right towards him. Oh, and the dash punch almost finds it on Kainoob from Bells. And there's the flip up in the top corner. Saved away, though. Not perfect, and the evade can't come out in time. Bells will get Sad Boy's first point of this set, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, great reaction from Kainoob, but not able to hit quite the diagonal bottom area to clear that one out. Ends up kind of being a dimer. But honestly, some like kind of weird decisions, I will say. Like, Gimme probably should have just kept flip to score there. Instead, really wanted to get a KO. So that kind of ended up biting them in the back. But both barriers taken this time. No funny business. Just straight business coming out of Demon's Row at this point. As it's 2 barriers to none. Just going to play it really slow. Just kind of work their way across the field. Gimme hitting it a little bit backwards. But an opportunity for a setup for Snake is going to come up real soon.
Yeah, Gumi is so fast. He's just able to get these strikes. And although Vaughn is the one in the suit, like you said, the business is being done by Demon's Raw. As there's the dash punch to take that final barrier from Bells. Gumi is so fast. He's looking to get it through. There's the flip, but immediately the Fiery Flurry comes out. And Snake is on such low HP, being staggered for such a long time. And they're looking for anything to pass up. There's the dash punch, but immediately blocked away by You Already Lose. Trying to find something. You can't get it past Gumi in the midfield. And a beautiful strike gets it past Bells. Gumi is just on fire, sprinting forward, and Snake is just staggered the whole time.
Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. It's kind of... Snake is getting Snake Lord right now really hard. Has to deal with a little bit of his own medicine, just taking a ton of damage. Gumi just striking it back to Kayanoob, doing a little bit of a back pass. Just going, I don't know. Maybe it kind of was a pretty good play because there wasn't really that many ways forward. But Kayanoob ready for it. Has really good reactions. But once again, like Snake just has to play stagger this whole game. Gumi has stagger swagger, so it's just really impossible to kill Gumi. As for Carr, wow, insane saves from Kayanoob, by the way. And another accidental back pass that time. And there we go. Gumi finally finding the opportunity to use that speed to score. Strikes once, runs just like 20 feet forward, and then ult strike reset again. And Kainoob's once again MVP and gets to pick something that's going to be really good. There's Among Titans here to make both of your forwards even larger and give yourself more speed to play farther forward. Very, very popular pick by the Era goalie in this matchup. And then like spec training is going to be annoying to deny at the very least, because even then there's extra impact and extra special on the board, which are all just really scary. And we're probably going to see, it's kind of weird because, well, all these kind of stuck on Snake. Glass Cannon, you're just getting hit non-stop, so you don't really want it. Prize Fighter, you're dying a lot, so you don't really want it. But at least Prize Fighter is easier to kind of get some value from. But give me instant double barrier. It's looking really good for Demons.
Yeah, that's a huge start to a set right away, as we've seen how well Kainoob is able to hold these barriers, let alone the goal itself. So Sad Boys have their work cut out for him. There's the second one, though. Vaughn is just in their face. And look at that. Vaughn does mean business. First point immediately goes to Sad Boys. And look at that pressure.
Yeah, Strike Shotgun really, really good, it turns out. And Heavy Impact is a huge pickup for Vaughn as well. It's probably Drakar's like best awakening. It gets you whenever you shotgun this Drakar, you're usually hitting 2 targets anyway, so you're getting a ton of value off that, and your shotgun just does a ton more damage too because it's an impact. So it's pretty scary, especially when Snake was getting KO'd a lot earlier, and that kind of came up as a win condition for Sad Boys. But instead, it's going to be the triple forward pressure, kind of running past Gimme and saying, "Let me handle this one, boss. I am very, very fast." And just causing a ton of trouble and forcing this flip out. Flips will be traded though, and Bells will find the dash punch to get the KO. Snake is in a really good spot though. Might be able to, honestly, just by having to flip is going to apply a lot of pressure. Gets a KO just with it. But now has no dash punch, has no real way to score on You Already Lose. It's going to be up to Gumi here to find something, but the flip is just going to be forced out instead.
Yeah, and there's the pass off the middle. Looking to strike it through is Gumi, and Snake is staggered. Almost gets punched off the top of the map. We see the fight or flight coming into play here, trying to find the dash punch connection. Not quite able to find it as the core does go back to the side of Demon's Raw, but the shot is high from Gumi, and it finds the top of the net perfectly. You Already Lose. No chance of saving that one. Demon's Raw get on the board.
Yeah, Gimme just calls out not having strike shot there, and you Already Lose not, like, thinking the dash range would be enough, but just was out of reach, unable to strike that core, and results in another Demon's Raw point. Now, Kainoob just, I mean, Kainoob and Gimme are just so fast. They are just zooming around the map, just having, they're probably having so much fun right now. Like, it's so fun to be this fast. You don't get to have that in like a normal, just like competitive game, very like solo queue game very often, let alone NASL. So here they are just flying around, but kind of forced to flip, and another flip taken off the table, another character taken off the table. Bells just gets that reset and is able to get another one, but Kainoob is just holding. Like, Bells is probably going to be forced to flip here, but instead just doesn't flip, doesn't get the barrier. Everyone's back online. All the cooldowns are online. You Already Lose is the one who's forced to flip. And this might just be God build on like 2 of the Demon's Raw members right now. This is really scary for Sad Boys.
Oh, it has to be. I feel like I'm watching quick play with those all speed awakenings because Kainoob and Gumi are just so quick. They're just around the entire map. I feel like at this point, this era could catch up to a core flip with the core moving this fast if he just uses that secondary and flies forward.
Yeah, they just got like the League of Legends like kiting music on right now, just going extremely quickly. Insane save from Kainoob, able to strike it out of the dash punch, but now a lot of energy going to a lot of different people. Vaughn buffers flip there and might get KO'd for it, but so far is able to stay alive. Gimme once again, honestly, I think making a mistake by not using this flip to score, but it's not going to matter. Snake's just going to set it up. It's just going to score that one. Had an insanely good ping pong sequence, and is going to bring it to not only map point, but match point.
Oh my gosh, that is so fast. I mean, what do? You can't KO them because they're just moving so quickly. The goalie is just dribbling around it like they have a quick strike, even though they don't. How do you beat this if you're Sad Boys? I guess that's how you do it. I guess you just KO the goalie, but we'll see. I mean, Gumi should be able to keep one barrier alive, at least for a little bit, with that fight or flight. But Snake is on such low HP. We see them walking a fine line this entire game, but somehow living and staying alive for a good majority of it.
Yeah. I mean, Gumi, this team is no stranger to playing ex-goalie. Is able to save that last barrier despite the goalie being taken out. That's kind of the thing, is that like this whole team kind of has to operate as a defensive unit a little bit more when you have era goalie. I mean, Kainoob's been playing absolutely like insane this game, but you just kind of gotta be able to rotate to like all positions sometimes. But especially sometimes kind of just wants to play forward and runs forward to help out with the offense. Oh my god, kind of strikes that upwards. The flip is going to take it out to save it. But Bells, I think Bells MOBA momented it backwards towards You Already Lose, which ends up in an own barrier. Now this flip might be forced out from You Already Lose if they can get a good setup going. The strike shot is off the table now. Flip is going to be used. Kainoob not able to get a strike on it, but is going to be able to use the Bewitching Beam to save it. Now Gimme looking for an opportunity to help set up Snake, but Snake's going to get KO'd. Now it's a power play for Sad Boys, but just it's going to be really hard to get through. There's the Maelstrom to block the first bit. And then immediately afterwards, we see the flip used to stall. Snake is now back online, but Bells gets timed up and is not going to let that chance go to waste and take them to another chance to stay into this game.
Yeah, we've seen Gumi do a lot of back passes. I'm sure him and Kainu will be having a stern conversation after this match. But with how quick they're moving, surely they can get past it. Kainu is just in the midfield all the time. And really, you just need to put on damage like that and take both the gates. The Maelstrom coming through. Somehow Snake KO'd and the flip blocked away for Gumi. You need to keep this in the forward pressure. There's so much. Kainu winning the strike wars, dribbling it past. Somehow almost winning a 1 versus 3 against this entire team as Gumi just sits in the net. Juliet calls for the defense, looking for something as Gumi is on such low HP, but has the speed, has the awakenings, but you already lose, has the core flip. There is potential for Sad Boys to stay alive, but it's going to be difficult.
Oh, but speaking of making it hard to stay alive, it's going to be Bells who's extremely low right now. That dash barely, though, not KOing Bells is huge. As Gumi can't catch up here, Bells is going to stay alive with a lot of cooldowns used. Gumi's AFK right now, a little bit not happy of how that turned out. And it's just somehow not going to matter. Kainu just sprints all the way back and flips it in time to survive. Bells just going to be unstaggered, though, but just walks into a Maelstrom immediately afterwards. All right, the read on the dribble there is extremely important. A lot of cooldowns down for Yardi lose right now. This is a great opportunity to score, especially if Gumi, having flip but doesn't even need to use it, is able to break through, and Demons Raw are going to not only just all win, but secure Sad Boys' place as in 6th in playoffs. And this will be also no more tiebreakers. Just completely sets the placements for playoffs. It will be, I believe, Sad. It'll be blah blah blah. Or from top to bottom, it's going to be Demons Raw, Core Overflow, EKC, Bun Bun Bonanza, Last Call, and then Sad Boys.
Yes, Sad Boys indeed. But Demons Raw, what a incredible showing from them, only dropping 1 game in this NASL season when Gumi, I believe, was on vacation and could only provide moral support instead of X-Fighter flight support like we saw this match. Insane amount of redirects coming out. Kainu has 283. 283 redirects for that entire game. Double that of the 2 Julies on each side. Just, how do you get it past someone that is just constantly hogging that core? The answer is clearly you don't, and you get 2-0'd by Demons Raw. So incredible game from them, and I believe we will have potentially a post-game interview coming up directly after this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but hopefully we get to hear from Sir Gumathan himself in the near future. We will see, though.
Yeah, we will see. I'm not sure if we're going to have a break or if we're just going to cut right to it. We'll wait on whether we hear about that or not. But yeah, just Demons Raw. I mean, who's going to beat this team? Like, someone's got to do it. Like, they just swapped their goalie out. They just they just decided, you know what, we're going to put Kainu goalie. I mean, this guy hit rank 1 and 2 playing it or something like that. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I believe it was rank 1. It's just disgusting for them. You know who is going to beat them? I think it's Last Call. They got to do it again, right? They got to do it again.
They don't have reverse to help them out a little bit, or the lack of their main goalie to help out this time. So, kind of gonna might be a little bit harder for Last Call, and they also have to make it through all the other teams because they are also going to be starting in losers. So just something that's gonna be a little tough to deal with. We will have to see who it is that Demons Raw pick. I'm pretty sure they still get the pick. I've heard rumors that they might pick Bun Bun, but EKC and Bun Bun are both like interesting teams to really look at. Bun Bun has really looked to be extremely strong lately. Like, okay, maybe not in weeklies, but and like when they're trying and showing their like actual comps and like prepare for their matches in NASL, they just have been looking like really, really, really good lately. I know that Raw honestly just kind of want to play them because they like not only because they look good, but because just like a little bit of chat in between them. But EKC also a team that's like generally pretty strong and it's just has like an identity. Like Bun Bun and EKC, what I feel like separates them from the rest of the teams is that they both have like solid identities that they've like found themselves. They formed themselves around like certain characters they like to play, win conditions that are like really easy to just kind of like understand. Like EKC of damage and Bun Bun with I don't even know, just like Scyther 12, I guess. But looking at those matchups, it's pretty interesting because I do feel like EKC, like when I look at it on paper, I feel like RAHH EKC is a better matchup for RAHH, but would not be surprised to see Bun Bun picked either way. And then Core Overflow will be playing the other team in the first round of winners semifinals. But BOIS finishing sixth place is not something anyone had in their power rankings
No,
at all.
definitely not. I would not have guessed that if you asked me at the start of this NASL season, oh, what team do you think is going to be in first place and second place? I mean, I would have said Demons Raw Sad Boys, right? Like that's on paper what makes sense, but we've seen some of these teams step up. I mean, we've seen Core Overflow just be an absolute menace to them. We've seen uh even which team is that? Bum Bum Bonanza plays super well against them, right? Like it's a great showing from all these teams in NASL. And despite having some heavy hitters and huge names on that core strike leaderboard, uh somehow for them being in sixth place, I believe, or potentially seventh after this game, I'm not entirely sure. Uh Still, it just goes to show the level of the NASL and how these teams are playing together. It's a beautiful showing.
Yeah, I mean, Sad Boys. Still a lot of playoff hopes there. I feel like there's a good chance they grind for playoffs and then as like a last sort of hurrah sort of thing. But Sad Boys, like the kind of known to not have been sort of scrimming as much and like prepping as much this season. Just kind of show up every Saturday and try to get the job done. So we'll see if they are able to scale up. There's a 1 week to practice until playoffs, and then it's do or die. They don't really have an extra life anymore through winners. They'll have to um, go on the longest possible losers run in order to make it just to like they have to win 3 games just to make it to grands, and then that's gonna be also really hard because then you have to win 2 games because I'm pretty sure it's just a best of 3 with reset.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. I do think we are ready to go to our interview though. So congrats to Demons Raw on their victory, and Gaybot, take it away. Or hopefully everyone's ready.
Hopefully everyone's ready. Or I'm just an ethereal voice talking for the void. Who knows what it is? Finally, the regular season of the North American Strikers League has concluded. Shenanigans and all, and I am now joined by Gumi, coming off the 2-0 real victory over the Sad Boys. Gumi, how does that one feel? And why is this Julie era X comp back? What's the deal with that?
It feels good to have our win again. I get to maintain my undefeated national regular season in games. It felt a little bad to lose it how it did on Saturday, but it feels good to be back. And I don't really think the Era X Julie comp ever left, really. It's just no one played it but us. And it lost to the Mako double kitten comp at Dubu Cup, so we didn't play it there. But other than that, now with the Mako Era comp being weaker, I think it's very strong. It only really loses to damage, I feel like. And if they just play like a standard defensive goalie, core control, midfield, scoring forward, it just completely steamrolls those comps. So we brought it out. That was my first time playing the X side of the comp, but it was fun.
I was about to say, walk me through that adaptation. I mean, are you just gonna stay in the midfield slot for playoffs? Like, what's is that just what you've all decided that Kaidub's a better goalie now?
It's I don't know. I just have been having fun on midfield recently, and I've been just doing good on the role randomly, even though I haven't played it very much. And kind of is a bit bored of midfield because Juno now Bat Chest, Odyssey Interactive. Please nerf these characters so we can all have fun. But yeah, he's been having more fun on goalie, and I've been having more fun on midfield. And I mean, it works, right? So might as well.
Yeah, it works. Hey, at the end of the day, the most important part out of all of this is having fun, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's the important part. Final standings, of course, you all see on your screen right now. The playoffs teams have all been locked in terms of their standings, 1 to 6, and then of course the teams that will not be joining us for playoffs are also in there. Gumi, before we talk a little bit more about playoffs in particular, is there anything for you that's kind of like surprising or things you just were not expecting looking back on the regular season as a whole here?
I mean, honestly, the only thing that I wouldn't predict going into the season was Sad Boys losing to Cow and did who did they lose to their main roster with? It was Cow and Bun Bun, right? Or
Cow, I think Bon Bon, yeah. And I don't Bon wasn't in for last call, right? Or no. Bon was in for last call.
oh, it's
I
Last
think.
Call and Cow. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Last call and Cow. Yeah.
yeah, it's just I wouldn't expect them to lose to those teams. It feels weird going into playoffs with Sad Boys not being near the top in winner's side. But we know Sad Boys, they're gonna make a return and they're gonna see us in grands. So
Yeah, the interesting implication there is because the Sad Boys are starting in the losers bracket, you all won't have to play them twice during playoffs. You got like the extra match with them, done it out of the way, thanks to this replay. And now you don't have to play them twice in playoffs. But let's talk about who you do have to play because as the first seed overall, of course, you all get the choice of who you get to play between Era's Kitten Club and the Bun Bun Bonanza. These two tied teams. It's 6-3 apiece. Walk me through who you want to pick and why you think you have the better matchup versus them.
we're gonna go ahead and pick Bun Bun Bonanza. Core Overflow picked EKC. The same matchups as it was gonna be if they were first seed. Chill vibe. My teammates like beating Bun Bun, so we're gonna pick Bun Bun.
That's it. You
Yep.
just you just want to beat him.
And we also think that we match up better into Bun Bun than EKC on paper.
Okay. Do you care to expand on that at all, or are you just going to leave it like that? That's
Um,
fine if you don't want to expand, because I suppose there's
it's hard to
leaks.
put into words. Like I don't really care about leaking. I'm gonna be honest, but it's hard to put into words. But it just feels like the way Bun Bun plays and EKC plays, it's gonna be easier to beat Bun Bun.
All
Even
right.
though
Well,
even though Bun Bun has been looking strong and they've won like 5 matches in a row or something.
all right. Well, interesting. I think in a moment we should have the ability to switch over to playoff bracket. There we go. Saya read my mind right before I was saying those words. You see the bracket there overall, of course, Last Call and Sad Boys. Now we'll await the losers of those winners semifinals matches. And the majority of these matches are going to get played next week on March 23rd, next Saturday. Gumi, if you had to pick a match that could possibly happen, so that includes the loser of your match versus Last Call, loser of the other match versus Sad Boys, and then that loser semifinals potential matchup. What do you think is the matchup that most people are going to have their eyes on after day one of playoffs?
Um, After day one, I'm not really sure, but on day one, I know I'm really looking forward to the Cow EKC matchup, the great DDoSing of 2023, if you will. At least I think it was 2024. The great
What?
DDoSing of 2024, the rematch. I think that match
Yeah.
could go either way, and it's going to be crazy because if EKC takes that match, which I think is very possible, EKC is a great team. It'll be Sad Boys versus Cow at the first round of losers. Like that's crazy.
And one of those teams goes home in the tie for fifth, which no one would have seen coming in the beginning of the season thus far. That's certainly the case. Also, I imagine a lot of people have their eyes on, all three of those up and coming teams, I guess. These EKCs, Bun Buns, the Last Calls. How far are they going to make it Of course, only time will tell. Gumi, anything else you want to say to the crowd before we sign off for the day?
I'm really excited. This season has been super hype, and I think we're kind of like at peak Omega Strikers from what we've seen so far. Like people are consistently doing some very, very crazy stuff now. Where if you look back at NASL season 1 or even 2, honestly, you wouldn't see the type of stuff people are doing now. So it's really cool to see the game evolve and show how much skill expression there is. So can't wait to play playoffs.
And we can't wait to watch it. Tell all your friends, folks. The North American Strikers League Season 3 playoffs begins next Saturday, March 23rd, and will continue 2 weeks later on April 6th. That's going to do it for our broadcast here today, folks. But be sure to stay tuned for all future Omega Strikers action, and we will see you all in the North American Strikers League broadcast next week. Have a good one.